Okay, so let's move to the status hierarchy. I think that Jordan Peterson made famous the lobster theory, which basically said that hierarchy is here for like millions of years, and even lobsters suffer from the hierarchy status. And hierarchy is not that a social construct that you build, it is something inherited in our biology. And I would say, how do women rank? How do women know in which status the man is? Because they don't know his wealth, they don't know his intelligence, they don't know how smart he is. It's just like a guessing game. So how do women guess the man status?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's a guessing game. They use cues that are statistically correlated with status. So one of the most important ones is the attention structure. So the people high in status are those to whom the most people pay the most attention. And so women can use the attention structure as a cue to status. And then, of course, there are other things which are, I think that's probably the most important one, but there are other things like his wealth. They can observe that in the modern world. Ancestrally, it would have been, is this guy reliably a good hunter? So that's what increases status ancestrally in small group hunter-gatherer societies. But in the modern environment, we have other things where cars, houses, possessions, which are imperfect indicators of status, but they are still correlated with status.
Would you agree that the metrics for evaluating status are different between men and women? So women seek status in 1, 2, 3, and men seek status in 4, 5, 6. So in different areas, it might be like beauty versus power or wealth.
Yeah. Of course, the qualities, and I recently published a paper on precisely this topic, that there are sex differences in what leads to high status or low status, and they are some of those things. And so, for better or for worse, physical appearance or beauty is a more important component of female status than male status. So you look at, you can see this in look at rock stars. If you just took a photo of some of these rock stars, most women, if they didn't know who these people were, would find them really ugly and unattractive. But because they have status, that elevates their attractiveness. Yeah.
In almost every sports car that I've ever seen, there is an old guy next to a beautiful young lady. So I want to even go further. Would men consider intelligence as a counterfactor? I don't want my woman to be over intelligence. I don't want my woman to be over me. I want to be the dominant. I want to protect her. I want to be in charge. Therefore, dominant, intelligent women having more difficulties finding mates.
Yeah, I think that's basically right. And the way that I explain it is a controllability. So intelligent women are less easily controllable. They're less easily manipulable by men. And so part of what, men have evolved to be attracted to women who are high in fertility, but also women who they can control to some degree. And women who are more intelligent than them are going to outthink them, and they're going to be less controllable.
Because
that's not necessarily admirable, but it's just part of our mating psychology.
It seems like every page of your book screams out that the modern feminist theories about everything is equal and everything is social construct are not true. You can't read your book and say, yes, the sex differences are only a social construct or can be manipulated via education. It's like there is something much more profound underneath.
Yes, and I agree with that. I call it sex difference denialism, and I think it's just absurd because the scientific evidence is very, very clear. And the meta theory of evolutionary psychology is very clear. So we only expect to see sex differences in domains in which men and women have faced recurrently different adaptive challenges over the course of human evolutionary history. In many domains, the sexes are very similar to each other. But as it turns out, in the mating domain, in the sexuality domain, the problems and challenges that men and women have faced have been profoundly different. And so we have evolved fundamentally different mating and sexual psychologies. And so to pretend otherwise is just, in my view, naive.
It's like the inherent conflicts. So I always stated that a platonic relationships are like there is a saying in Israel that a platonic relationship are like BDSM. Although the two sides agree upon it, it might be okay, but it's still something weird. So there is no way of a platonic relationship because there is an inherent tension. On this channel, you will see the authors of these books and many more having great conversations with me. Please subscribe, hit the bell button, and be part of this great community. See you in the next video.